he owned his many businesses. He basically bought a business, resurrected them, and then sold them again. That was his model for success. And Gordon Forsythe was a very refined gentleman. He was working for Bell at the time. He had sold a product to Bell. Bell conferencing, if you know, the phone conferencing, the video conferencing, that was his idea that was sold to Bell. And he said to me one night, he says, you know, you're a hard worker, you teach, you do so well here with us in the karate club. Have you ever thought about more? And I'm like, what do you mean? He says, well, you know, my sister's a teacher as well, but you guys work so hard and you don't get compensated. What about sales? What about come working for me? And I was like, Gord, you're asking me to walk away from my career. I'd just gotten through the principal's courses, and I had a good mentor at my school. I was looking at, you know, promotions and getting on the list for vice principal, and he says, come down and, you know, take a day off and come tour my office. So okay, fine. I went down and I toured his office, and I saw what he was doing, and I was like, I don't know if I can sell. I'm not a seller. He's like, you're a seller. You're on stage every day performing for kids. You're always selling. And I thought about it, and I says, okay, all right. So I had my paper signed, and I walked into my principal, and I was ready. I was like, I'm going to take a leave of absence. I'm going to go test the waters. And then Gord called me up just the day before I brought my forms in. He's like, Courtney, you know, I got some bad news. I'm resigning. And the guy I brought in to mentor you, he brought this guy over from Prague, who was going to mentor me, and I've met this individual. Well, he just got bought out by another company for $750,000, so he won't be there either. I don't really feel good about having you come in without that person there and me not being there. And I said, Gord, I don't feel good about it either. So I said no to that, right? But he is the one that made me start to look for other opportunities outside of school. So I started listening to the seminars, going to the books, and so forth. Then I got the email from Azar. I'm like, what the heck is Azar? Right? And what's Thornhill Wealth? Why is it in my inbox, in my school folder? And I said, at the time that this came in, I was already looking for opportunities. I was going to Robert Kiyosaki seminars on real estate. I was seeing the same faces at many seminars around the world, around Ontario. I was going to Robert Allen's stuff on real estate. I bought Robert Allen's package. It was a $4,000 package on how to become a real estate investor. The box came to my house. It was about this high, this big. And I said, I don't want another job. Okay? It had big binders in it. And I said, this is not really what I signed up for. So I called him back and I said, you know what? You need to take these boxes out of my house because I can't do it this way. Because their thought was, you know, go knock on doors and ask people if they want to sell their houses and stuff. And I was just like, this doesn't work. So I gave it back. And then I heard about this opportunity where I could pay off my mortgage in 1/3 the time. And I watched the webinar, and I understood the concept, and I said, yeah, this makes sense. Borrow money from a low interest, pay towards my high mortgages and so forth, and then pay my low interest off and then redo it, pay down my principal a lot faster. And I said, yeah, this makes sense. And then I get his email. Come learn how to invest in real estate. Paula Bretta will speak on how to become a real estate investor in multi-family homes. Come learn how to pay off your mortgage in 1/3 the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, who is this guy and how did he know what I'm looking for? So I signed up and I came up, just totally trusting. And there was Paula in her sweater, just totally unassuming, just doing her thing, having a conference out in Muskoka. I heard of Muskoka. I didn't even know how to spell it. I didn't know what it was. Right? So I said, okay, I'm going to trust. I'm going to go. She seems like the legit person. So I followed. And Azar was there. And we had a wonderful weekend. And from there, it was accountability. Have you made an offer? Have you done this? She was honest like night and day. I walked out of there not knowing anything, but totally connected with the integrity of what I saw. And within 4 or 5 months after that, I made my first purchase. And as you said, the first purchase is the hardest. But once you make the first, everything else opens up. And a month after the first was the second. But before that, I had gone everywhere. I traveled to Windsor, I traveled to Cornwall, I traveled to London, all for nothing. by myself, 4 hours there, 4 hours back, coming home at 2 o'clock in the morning. You're going to have to figure out what it is you want. When you have to do something, there is no excuse. You find whatever you need to find inside to get you there. So, Paul Libretta was my mentor, and I took action, got some success, learned some things along the way, made adjustments, took action again. And this is basically how it's been done. So, formula for financial freedom for me and for many of you sitting here is to buy investment properties. Profit when you buy, profit when you sell. Cash flow is king, always has been, always will be. This gentleman has 30-something doors that he's managing. I'm not sure how old you are, but it really doesn't matter. Because he saw it early, and he believed in it, and he's well on his way. Now, you don't have to go and listen to all the tapes and attend the seminars like I did. For me, that worked. But you can start right here. If you've never done anything, the ANT philosophy is the last piece I want to leave with you. And when I bought my current home, 4 years ago, we drove along Huntingwood, my mom and I. My mom lives with me. She's my angel. And I said to her, we're going to live along Huntingwood. She used to live in this apartment building on Keel and Eglinton, Keel and Wilson, that I just despised going to. It was just not a good experience, not a good place for her. So I said, we're going to live here. And sure enough, we bought a property on Huntingwood. So I move in, and at the entrance to the house is a little veranda. And there are tons of ants. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? Didn't matter what I tried. I got all the different ant killers that you can get, and I put it down. Next day I'd come back, there'd be more. It's almost like miraculously just reappeared. I'm like, what is going on? And the more I tried to kill them, the more they seemed to produce. Because not only were they at the entrance to my house trying to get in, they were now at the foot of the driveway. And so I started walking around my community, and I noticed that there were ants everywhere. There were ants on the baseball diamond. I'm like, geez, man, what did I buy into? Like, these guys are going to take my house away, right? So I started analyzing it, and I said, you know what? There's something to be learned about this. Now, somehow this is covered, and I won't even try to touch it because it might mess it up. So ants know exactly where they want to go. Okay? I'm not sure what happened. It's okay. I can figure it out. So ants know exactly what it is they want, and they will do anything in their power to get it. If you put a pebble in front of an ant, it will find the other way. If you put a barrier there, it will come the other way. If its path is blocked here, it will look to go over the pebble. If that is obstructed, it will look to go under the pebble. If it can't, it will try to lift it. An ant is tenacious. If it can't lift it on its own, guess what? It calls in its friends. Hey, come help me lift this pebble. Because they're the ultimate when it comes to teamwork. So, you would be able to see it here, but they're building a bridge from one leaf to the next. I can't do it on my own. And this is where the partnerships come in. This is where the JV partnerships and the knowledge comes in. So they're willing to do whatever it takes. And if they can't lift the pebble, they'll actually try to gnaw their way through it or dig underground. And they'll do it for as long as it takes. How long? Until they die. Because the one thing they will never do is they will never give up. If you have your dreams and you know exactly what you want and you follow the philosophy of an ant, you cannot be denied. Summertime, most of us like to relax. Paula had a meeting in the fall, and one of the reoccurring theme was, I didn't do anything in real estate this summer. I was at the cottage, I was doing this, I was relaxing. An ant works hard in the summer preparing for the winter. There is no time off. If you're looking to create freedom for yourself, you can't say, I'm just going to let the sails out and relax. Yes, enjoy. But don't make your enjoyment become a detriment. You need to plan for the winter. And the best time to do that is in the summer when the weather is good, when others are not doing, they're not seeing the opportunities that you're seeing. Okay? Ant philosophy. Ants don't have credit cards. Okay? They don't use the present moment to create debt and liabilities for themselves in the future. They use the present moment to collect assets. So the slide I showed you earlier was them gathering food for the winter months. How many of you know the fable by Aesop, the ant and the grasshopper? Okay, so just a quick fable. This is the last slide. So Aesop's story goes like this. It's summertime. There's a grasshopper, long, tall grass. And he's out there, he's having fun, he's playing his music. And he sees an ant struggling back and forth to the farmer's field, picking up grain, coming back to its home, depositing it, going back to get grain. Every day he sees the ant. He's like, hey, what's the rush? Come on, it's summer, just relax, have some fun, come listen to me play. The ant would just listen to him and then scurry on even faster, and the guy would laugh, the grasshopper would laugh at the ant. He couldn't believe he was doing this. But soon enough, summer turned to fall, and fall turned to winter. And the snow came, and the grasshopper, who had not prepared himself during the summer, was left out in the cold with nowhere to go. So, geez, what do I do? How am I going to survive? Oh yeah, the ant. The ant was collecting food. The ant has food. Maybe I can go to the ant's house and maybe they can help me out. So he knocked on the ant's door. Hey, I'm really hungry and I was wondering if I could get some food and warm up by your fire. In the summer months while I was working, you were laughing and you were playing while I was collecting and preparing for the winter. I have no food for you. Goodbye. So the grasshopper died. Many people right now are going through their winters. And they're going towards their winters, which is their retirements, because they've not prepared in the summer. You guys are a different lot. You are preparing in the summer so you can reap in the winter when others are struggling. So this fable is important. We all must face our winters. Every one of us have winters that we have to navigate around. But by adopting the ant philosophy, you'll learn not only to survive your winters, but you'll learn to thrive as well. So this is my presentation. And the last thing is for you to do this. I believe that what you promise yourself, you need to go after. Promise yourself that you will create financial freedom. Or there is no or. There is only one choice. Get it done. The ant doesn't say, I will do this or. It says, I will do this or die. I'm not asking you to die. But I'm asking you to go for what it is you want. Make that promise to yourself to go after it. See, fear is the inability to make a promise to yourself. And it usually kicks in when you think about all the bad things that can happen along the way. Some of you had ideas to get into real estate a while ago and you're sharing, and you didn't. Fear. Not sure if this is going to work out. About 4 years ago, I sat down and put my business plan together for real estate, and I had a gentleman that was going to partner with me on a couple of deals. First deal we saw was in Windsor. We looked at it, looked at the cash flow analysis, looked good to me. He says, after with this guy for a year, saying this is what we need to do, he backed out. He says, I don't think so. I don't think I can do it. I said, okay. So we killed the deal. Didn't go through. But in the meantime, I found another young individual similar to this gentleman. And she got it. She was motivated. And so for the last 2 years, she's been under my wing being mentored. She now owns 6 properties. So fear, the inability to make a promise to yourself, has kept one from moving forward, while promising has moved one towards their financial freedom. You all remember what it was like riding a bike. You stumbled, you fell. But you made a promise to yourself, I'm going to ride this bike. And you got back on it. And you tried it again. You fell. Maybe you got a bigger bruise and you cried, but you got back on it. And you rode. And so that promise was what kept you going. So in closing, make a promise to yourself. Financial freedom is yours to achieve. If you promise yourself you'll go after it, and you follow the goals and the plans that you've set forth, you can't be denied. Okay? Thank you.